Hello, welcome back. Welcome to another amazing Unstoppable Teacher webinar. I am so excited to be here, so excited to be joined by two incredible educators who I've got hiding backstage. I'm going to bring them up here in a second, don't you worry. But before I do that, I want to remind everyone watching that this is a participatory webinar. That means that we love when you post comments in the chat. We also love to put those comments up onto the screen to recognize you, recognize our amazing community members who show up for these webinars, who bring their knowledge to the stage. So when you have a great idea, send it in. There's no bad comment that you can be posting up there, as long as it's obviously related to the webinar. We love hearing where you're calling in from and what it is that you're learning, what's impactful to you, the ideas that you have learned and that you can bring to the table too. So you are very much a part of this webinar, and we love to bring your comments up. That said, if you'd like to comment in the chat right now about where you're calling in from or a little bit about what you teach, we would love to learn that information about you. Additionally, today you might find that this was a really useful webinar and you want to get a certificate of your attendance. You can do that. We've just shared a link in the chat, and there's a QR code up there that you can scan. That's going to take you to Mobile Minds. Mobile Minds is our mobile online learning platform that allows you to learn about 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝘁 and Book Creator from wherever you are. And it also connects you to a wider community of things that are happening at the platform and at the company. So all of our events and everything, they're all posted on there. So jump in there, get involved, and definitely get your certificate for today. We are going to be sharing the secret code that you'll need at the end of the webinar. And if you're watching the recording, thank you so much for watching. You too can also get that certificate. So with all of that said, I am so excited to be welcoming today's guests onto the stage. We're going to be talking about a relatively new tool to the 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝘁 ecosystem. And for those of you who've been using 𝘁𝗵𝗶 for a while, you're going to recognize this tool, but you're going to see it in a bit of a different place. And we call today's the universal remote for learning, because essentially what we've done is we've taken that incredible toolbar down the side of 𝘁𝗵𝗶 and all of those explain, understand, read aloud, and accessibility tools, and we've built it into this little bar that floats on top of the internet. And it brings all of those resources to your students right wherever they are. So I'm so excited to welcome Chantel and Melissa to the stage. Ladies, thanks for being here.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here today. Okay, well, ladies, you've got a presentation. I'm excited to see this just as much as our audience, so take it away.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝘁 Companion, just like Dave said, we're going to take all of these wonderful tools that you know and love from 𝘁𝗵𝗶 and show you how that companion can follow you along or follow your students along on different websites. So this is pretty amazing. So hi, I'm Melissa Summerford. I'm a TLC here at 𝘁𝗵𝗶. I absolutely love what I get to do. I'm a former educator, but I'm bringing in today a dear friend of mine.
Hi, I'm Chantel Ladd. I am a digital learning specialist in Klein ISD. I used to teach world history, speech and debate, and a little teach of theater. And I'm really excited to be with you guys today to talk about 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝘁 Companion.
That's right. See, Chantel brings the junior high stuff. I bring the elementary. That's why we've always done well together, because we always make sure to try and hit both of those targets. So let's get started. If you're wondering, what is 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝘁 Companion? Well, we got to start off from back in the day, right, Chantel? Back in the day, what? Classroom has changed, you know. We're a little bit different in age. I'm more of a Gen Xer. So, you know, this picture right here, Chantel, this is my life.
I am a millennial, an elder millennial. And so I can attest to this. Like, I remember taking notes in my notebook. You know, you're writing so much, your little hands started hurting. You had to get your muscles strong because you're taking so many notes in your notebook. I remember this is old school textbooks, actual physical textbooks, and you had to wrap them up. All of those good things,
oh gosh,
right?
And the locker, and go to the locker and put them up. Oh my goodness.
Yes, yes.
Book covers.
nice. I actually like those. Kids are missing out. But now it's a world of a digital world where students get updated information constantly. And you know that paper, we didn't have a lot of accessibility built in. You got to read it, and that's keep it moving, right, Chantel? Like there wasn't any support for us. If you fell behind, you fell behind. Nowadays, there are tools out there, and we're about to show you 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Companion and what it does to change that. Because let's look at our reality. 1 in 5 students face learning attention difficulty. I was one of them growing up. It was hard for me to concentrate. Sometimes it is too, right?
Yeah. Like
And
you said what?
oh no, keep going.
Oh yeah. Like sometimes I understand like it's hard to focus. Like even, I sometimes, am the best reader of things. I still like to hear things read aloud to me. I still like to, hear it at a slower speed or a quicker speed. I think when you're processing information, we all kind of like get to the end result of processing differently. And so I think what we're going to explore with 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Companion is like how it's able to personalize and support each individual student with whatever supports they may need.
Yeah, so let's talk about what that tool is because every student deserves to succeed. And with the right tool, which is 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Companion, we're going to show you how that can be done. So let's go ahead and dive into it. What is this? With 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Companion, students can access accessibility across websites, across Google Forms and Google Docs. So that tool is going to follow them. The 𝘁𝗵𝗁 they know and love, all of the tools are right there at their need. So let's go ahead and dive into this and let's get it started. I'm going to show you how this works. And I'm going to take you to a website that I used to use with my students, Weather Whiz Kids, because I was a 3rd grade math and science student. And my kids absolutely love when we got to natural disasters. I don't know why. Maybe it's exciting. Yeah, the hurricane season, the floods. Dave, do y'all have a lot of that? Like the natural disasters? Like, wait, no? Okay.
Nothing over here. No.
Because Dave's coming, from Spain. That's pretty awesome that we're able to be on this all together. So let's talk about how this works. So we're going to talk about tornadoes. I used to assign this to my kids all the time, but they would pair up so they could take turns reading and gathering the information. But look at this with 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Companion. This is how it looks. So what you're going to do is you have to have that 𝘁𝗵𝗁 extension. When you click on that, you're going to see the 𝘁𝗵𝗁 you know and love, and then you're going to show Companion. So I'm going to click on Companion, and there it is. That floating toolbar that Dave was talking about with all those tools that we know and love is going to float at the top. But here's the deal. You have some preferences. Everybody likes to choose what they want. So first you want to start with your settings. When you go into your settings, you can choose either a dark mode or light mode. What are y'all? Are you dark mode or light mode people? Like, is there a vote? Or are you, Chantel? Are you dark mode or light mode?
It depends. So I am definitely on my phone dark mode, but everywhere else light mode. But every once in a while I like to switch it up. Like, it's easy on the eyes. That's what I'll say.
Right? It is. And I usually like light mode everywhere, but with this Companion, I like the dark mode. And you know what else? You can even switch the sides. What you saw was 2-point. Now, okay, my eyes are a little old because I just turned 50. Let's see how this looks. Maybe okay, that's a little too, I haven't gotten there yet. But see, I really prefer the dark mode. So just know that that's an option. You can switch it to light or dark and then have it float. And then again, I prefer the 2-point setting there. And there you go. Look at that. It's going to float over that website. Students can move it around. Okay, that's getting started with Companion. You use the extension to open it up, set your preferences. Those are just a few. We're going to walk you through some of the others, but let's dive into how this is going to help support your students. Now, the first thing I want to start off with is the read aloud. Like, this is unbelievable. Just like we might, as adults, we like listening to a podcast, or students like listening to
audiobook
This
lover.
is kind of what this reminds me of, right? I know, because you have a reader or books. I think to understand it more when I hear those books that are read aloud, it just takes you into the story. So Okay, so we're going to go open, read aloud. Right next, you've got the selection mode, how you can select your words. I'll tell you how that works. If I just go default, it's just going to start reading. Here it is.
What is a tornado?
What is a tornado? I don't know. Tell me, what is a tornado? You can select default or word select, where I'm just getting on a
Tornado?
word.
A tornado
Or
is a violent rotating
area.
column of air.
Do you see how it kept going? So my
The
favorite
equation of a line is y.
this. So whenever I go into it, I like to do area select, and I like to loop in, and this is just my personal preference. I like to loop in the section that I want it to read, and watch what's going to happen. Cami is going to read that selection. It's just kind of analyzing. So sometimes it just takes a bit, but it's going to analyze it. And then
what is a tornado? A tornado is a violent rotating column.
Oh, violent. See, maybe that's what my kids like, that violent. It was scary. So you've got those features in there. You can also decide what kind of voice you want to hear. Brian,
Oh, yeah.
well, you know, what do y'all recognize Brian? What does Brian sound like? He's the TikTok voice.
Is it the TikTok voice?
Yes, I guess. Well, I like to say it is. I think I watch too much TikTok. He sounds like the TikTok voice. But you've got, students have got other languages they can select. Charlotte is a good one too. She's the more natural sounding voice.
Hello, how are you today?
She sounds very
Oh,
nice.
she definitely sounds like the old school Apple.
Right. Oh, she sure does. I didn't even put
It's aging
that
me,
too.
but yes.
And I remember my students, when they had the ability to select a voice, I had some of my students that would speed it up because they want to get through it quickly. So students can do that.
Hello, how are you today?
They can speed it up if they need to hear it faster paced, but they want to get through it. I had my students used to do that as well. So the ability to speed it up and choose their voice, what's their preference, I just love that as well.
And even when students can slow it down, like sometimes they can hear pronunciation or practice their pronunciation a little bit better, like, and really hear a word said. So, if students need that help sounding it out, like that slowing down that speed is great.
Yes, very much so. So all of these tools are just going to bring so much to the students as far as when they're going, this accessibility is going to follow them. So we've got the read aloud. That's not all, because look, just like we have the dictionary in Cami, we're going to have it with 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Companion too. So I'm going to find a word.
The equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, where m.
Well, it's probably because this.
Tornadoes.
Let me hide this. Because I've got it set up on another one. Let me go. Okay, let's go. Here we go. So tornadoes, there is my dictionary right there.
Love that.
Look at that. You know why I like this, Chantel? Because, even as an adult, I struggle to say words. I can't even imagine like a student when they come to a word and they don't know how to pronounce
Tornadoes.
They can just highlight on that word and it's going to pronounce it. So they don't have to be like afraid, like if they say it wrong. I mean, I really like that tool. It must be some Melissa Summerford. But where was this when I was in school?
Well, like when you read, I don't know about you, but like I'm an avid reader, but you come across a word that you really don't know and you should be looking it up, but you don't. So like you say it in your mind, however you like the wrong way. And then when you finally hear it, you're like, that's what that word was. Like you totally don't have to do that now. You can totally, right? It's like, oh, that was precipice. Oh, okay. Right.
And most of the time I'm like, I was far from that.
You're like, and you just make up that.
The worst is when you then later, outside of reading it, you use the word incorrectly.
Yes. So now there's none of that because you can hear tornadoes pronounced, right? And I love it's got the definitions, like those two definitions underneath that with, saying that it's a noun. And then, yes, you're clicking on the best part, that picture dictionary. Ooh. Yes. So now I can make that association with the word that I already have. I've got the definition. I've got how to pronounce it. And now I can put a picture with that. So that's just amazing. As students are reading in the process of going through the article on the website, they've got all of these supports.
And the images are so simple, right? They're just like icons. They're nothing like that's like, what is that image? They're easily recognizable. That's what I love about it too. I feel like having those icons. I worked in special ed and we had a board maker, and we used to use these different icons to help students follow their schedule. This reminds me of that. It's the board maker where the icons are simple. They can look at them, clearly tell what they are. I love that 𝘁𝗵𝘁 has put that into 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Companion and 𝘁𝗵𝗁 that we know and love as well. All right. Are you ready for the best part? Because this part right here. We had teachers wanting a translation feature right here. So students can select words. I'm just doing a word selection, but they can do parts of the document and have it translated. And it's even going
Tornados.
to... I'll do that. Let me shut up.
Tornados.
Tornados. I mean, I got a little Spanish. I mean, I am Gomez, but... Tornados. I bet Dave is. Dave, you could talk Spanish, right? You could probably better than I do. You're immersed in it. You're immersed in it. I need to immerse myself to force myself to speak it. But
Yeah.
I like that it will read it to you. And then also you can copy and paste it and put it into an email, into a document. So remember, if I need more translated, I'm going to do the area select, and I'll do maybe this right here, this first sentence. And it's going to translate that for you, and we'll also read aloud. ¿Cómo se... No, I need to hear it.
¿Cómo se forman los tornados? La mayoría de los tornados se forman.
Look at that. I mean, my mom speaks really good Spanish, and I really wish I would have learned from her. But that's not the only language. You can select what languages are your favorites, but you can also go to more languages and then start. What was one that you were searching, Chantel?
Yeah, so I had a student who spoke Urdu, and so we were really trying to find a resource that supported him. And you guys were amazing because you guys have Urdu in there, and it's sometimes a little hard to find as a support, but we were so glad to be able to support him with that. And, helping him kind of access the information with a language that he knew, right? So kind of bringing that together. So there we go in Urdu. And do you know it's read right to left?
Oh, that is so... And look at this too. You can even change the speed of that being read as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, nice, nice. I'm so glad that we can help support your student that you are working with, and that language was present for him. All right. Any other questions, thoughts before we move along? We need to ask the chat, Chantel. We're forgetting to ask the chat. Any questions? What do you think? Drop it in the chat. Like, what? Isn't this amazing? Drop some emojis. If you think this is pretty amazing, drop some emojis in the chat.
Yes,
we want to know.
We love some emojis there,
we
right?
Do.
You can drop us anything, an audio phone, anything. You got a book for the dictionary, you name it, right?
Right. I know this is just so exciting because all the support that it's going to provide for your students, but we're not even done yet because there is even more supports as we go. I'm going to go and bring up this math. Okay. So sometimes when students are coming to a question and maybe they can't get your support right away because you're pulling small groups, or maybe they're working on this on their own at home. 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Companion is going to be that support because we have a tool up here, which you'll see in the 𝘁𝗵𝗁 you know and love. It's called the Explain tool. And I like this feature because look what happens when students get to a problem, which they're not too quite familiar on how to proceed. They can loop in the section of the problem. And I like to call this one a co-teacher because it's going to help coach them through the problem, not give them the answer. Look at this, Chantel, right?
I love that. Yes, definitely not giving them the answer, but helping them along the way to, explaining to them the process of how to solve the problem. I love that support.
Oh my goodness. Because you know what it was for us back in my day? The back of the book, the teacher would assign what the even numbers in the back of the book was the odd, and you had to figure out both. So you knew the answer to what? That was all the explaining we got back then.
But this is way better, right? Because you just had the answer. You didn't have an explanation. You didn't have like how the process needed to be worked, word for word. So I feel like, listen, we're better than back of the book.
Especially because information now we know changes so fast. So this is going to follow them on up-to-date information on these websites and articles that your students are going to. And like Chantel was talking about earlier, when you saw that dictionary and that picture dictionary, it's going to be up here, and then it's also going to be down here. So then a student can just click on, if this is too overwhelming, too much, this explain tool is very detailed. The student just needs to simplify it. They can then switch to summarize. And so what that is going to do, it's just going to give them more of a brief summarization of what is happening in that text. So they can choose which one do they want to go with, or even, when they tell, when you think about how students learn, sometimes they need to hear it in multiple ways. So to me, this is what it's like, hearing it in multiple ways. They've got a brief, and then they've got a more in-depth explanation.
Okay.
All right. Is this something that you see your students using or teachers talking about, Chantel? Or could you see them?
I definitely could. So I do encourage my teachers to also download it as well, because I think it's also a support for them, because they are supporting the students that have it downloaded and who need the support. And so, that summarize feature is great for them, if they're, going through text really quickly and they need to see, what is a summary of this, we might not always want our kids to summarize or use a summarizer, but it is good for in times where they need to get through text quickly, and then I love that explain feature. Again, like I said, that step-by-step explanation on, why the sky is blue, or the clouds swirl in a tornado, is helpful with really giving students that background knowledge that they might otherwise not have, right? Like, when they come to us, maybe they have not watched the movie Twister. They do not know the greatness
That's true. They're in Spain. They don't have tornadoes.
So giving them that background knowledge, and having it explain what they're reading a little bit more in depth is great.
All right. Okay. Why does time always go by so fast when you're having fun? Let's keep it moving so we can get through the rest of these tools, because we want you to know how these work. I'm just going to move it over to the next one. This one is where students can select either the picture or a text and adjust the reading level. I like this because they can level up or level down. They're seeing the same information, but they're making it fit to what they need. I really like this feature too, because there's no, like, their friends are not singing them. If they're leveling up, they're leveling down, they're taking ownership and finding what's best for them. So, all right, we're going to move along. Okay, Chantel, what are we talking about here?
We're talking about Jose Altuve, who is a player for the Astros, which is one of my favorite teams here. So we're going to use the feature of predict-to-text. So maybe we're, answering this document, and your students need support with, when they get ready to type, they need, predict-to-text assistance. And there you go. As you see, as you're typing the sentence, it's going to give you up to 5 words that can fit in there. And it's also going to kind of read what you're writing thus far and kind of help you figure out, it's going to try to figure out what's the word that you're trying to add. And so I love that predict-to-text feature for our students who need that support. And also it reminds me of the old school, Nokia predict-to-text. I'm not going to talk again, old school stuff, but I loved it, right? Because it was so quick and efficient. Okay. But, and you can also go ahead. And you can also change how many words are available. So right now we're seeing 5, but you can do 2, 3, however many that you need to do.
And where do we do that? We do that in the settings, right? The predicted text right here. This is what Chantel is talking about. How many words you want to see, and then read to hover over. I have that on as well. Because And one more thing, Chantel, is like when you are typing too, you can also press the number of the word that you see and it will put that in there.
Oh,
So
that's
if I
nice.
press 3, it just puts it, and I don't have to complete the word by typing it out. So we have that. What else do we have, Chantel?
And we have voice typing. So if students, need support with typing and they want to, they want to talk and have it written for them, that's where the voice typing feature comes in. Students can simply just share their thoughts and it will appear on the page.
Okay, so I am an expert at lipstick. I love picking out lipsticks. I love all the colors. May not know like what the ingredients is, but I know what color I need. There you go.
I definitely thought that was going to be sparkle and sequence, but lipstick
came
is
in
fine too.
mind.
No, I love that. And just like you dictated to it, you explained your answer, it's right there. And again, like you're deleting it, students can go back in and edit it as they need.
Yep, I know I
But
need a sentence
that
here.
text is there. And like I've always said, when we talk about features like this, it's great for those kids who are like, it may take a whole class period before you get an answer out of them or that answer on the page, and they really need that support. I love that it's right there, built in for them, and they can just move through the assignment, a lot quicker and a lot effectively, right, than they might have before.
That's right. And so she chatted about how those features work in a Google Doc. If I am in a Google form, those features are going to work again here. There's my companion right here. I can use the read aloud tool. I can use all of these tools that we know and love and we've talked about, but you're going to get that predictive text here. This is about the outsiders. So you're going to be able to see that students are going to be able to use the predictive text and the voice typing here as well. So that's going to follow along
into those blanks. I love also that it reads aloud to them. So a long time ago, these did not come with any of that feature. Like there was nothing that would read it. And so it was me recording things and putting them in there. So I love that now that is no longer my life and things that I would have to do, like recording the question, recording the answers. I love that now it's just, it can be read. That saves teachers time, right? That saves, just the effort and the amount of work that used to go into making sure that students got supports for this. And now it's built in right there. And students can have it read to them.
Mm-hmm.
We got a question.
Oh, okay. Yay. Okay.
Yeah, it says, my district uses Microsoft. Does the companion work on 360?
And we will find out because we're demonstrating all in Google today. That's a very great question.
This is what I will say. It should work in theory. And here's why. Microsoft plays well with a lot of the Google Chrome extensions. And so it should. Yeah, I was going to say Edge will let you download any of those extensions. So you should, in theory, be able to download it as well and use it Listen, if Edge is your choice of browser, you should be able to use it in Edge.
Yes. And I can tell you that we've recently had an update from the product team. There is a long list of websites that folks have requested better companion compatibility with, and we are working tirelessly to continue to add functionality to companion and across multiple websites and tools.
Good question.
All right.
Yeah, very good
great
question. Thank you.
The last thing I'm going to share is when you are on a website or any of these things that we have modeled, docs, forms, there is a built-in screen reader and then also a screen masking tool. And those colors can all be changed in the settings when you get on reading focus. You can change the opacity, the height, the width. So students can customize that, and then to flip it off, you just uncheck those markers right there.
Just love that, because like students used to have that physically, and now they can have that digitally as well.
Yes, exactly. And then the last thing, if there's a website your students are working in and they want to annotate in it and bring it to life using 𝘁𝗵𝗁, they can click on this button right here that says Open in 𝘁𝗵𝗁, select 𝘁𝗵𝗂 for Google Chrome, press Print, and look at this. It's going to bring it straight into the 𝘁𝗵𝗁 environment so students can then go in, mark it up, add their voice, their video, and just bring it more to life. So there's also that too. We tie these two products together because we know and love them both. And that's why it's 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Companion, because it's the companion to 𝘁𝗵𝗁. All right. We shared a lot today, Chantel.
Oh, we did, but it was great. I feel like, fast and furious, but always fantastic, right?
And we finished on time with 2 minutes to spare. Look at us.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, ladies, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be here today, for bringing that perspective from the classroom into our webinar today, and then sharing that out with the whole community. That is really what community is all about. Folks, if you are interested in getting that certificate, this is the secret code. We shared in the chat a link to get into Mobile Minds, and we'll put that information back up. You also have all that information in your registration email. So if you're interested in checking this out later, you can do that. If you're watching on the recording, same thing. You can jump in later, grab that certificate after the fact. But we want to make sure that you have it. So that's all the information that you need right there. Thank you so much for watching. Chantel, Melissa, your energy is spectacular. And thank you so much for just bringing to light some of these incredible features that can be hidden away sometimes in that little bar, and all of it is just power packed, right? I mean, that thing is just packed with tools that students and teachers can use in the classroom. So I can't thank you enough for being here, ladies. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.